but I think it exists. And that's what I was studying yesterday, and I enjoy finding stuff like that, new stuff, because it really gets my blood going. But anyway, this whole Beauty and the Beast thing is basically a story of Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots, abominations of the earth, and the beast. And this show premieres on television on 10, 11, 12, which you add them together, it makes a 33. The occult loves to do stuff like that. Remember, dates and certain days, and that all means something to them. That's all gives them power and so on. Here is an article that I'm just going, okay, this is disgusting. I'm not sure if I'm going. This is from campusreform.org. Student speaks out over Harvard University's annual Incest Fest party. Yes, you heard me read that correctly. The Incest Fest party. Now, that's what got my attention as I looked at it. Of course, it has to do with sororities and fraternities, is what they're implying here. But it's still, that's disgusting. That is beyond, I cannot even comprehend in my mind the desire of a brother and sister or father, daughter, father, son. I cannot, that just does not even ring up with me. I remember being at the bedside of a woman that for all the years, she was an older woman, but for all the years I had known her, she lived single. But I found out when she had colon cancer, she was dying, and I found out, she told me shortly before she died that her daughter, it was an adult daughter by then, who was there with her, because we were basically on death watch with this woman. She had colon cancer, she was dying, there was no more they could do with her, and every now and then she would wake up and she would talk to me because I was her pastor. And she confided in me that her daughter was the product of her father and her. And about 24 hours before she died, I remember she woke up, and she just woke up out of this deep, deep, deep sleep she was in. And she said, I need everybody to leave the room. And she brought in her daughter and told her that, right, just before she died. I want to tell you something else about that time. I remember it so well. You can believe this if you want to. I think I do. I think I believe it. And you know me, I'm Mr. Bible, all right? But it occurred to me years ago that this idea that Jesus will come to us not as a thief if we're children of the day. I have been with several people as pastor. I've been with several people shortly before they died, usually older men that have gotten sick and so on. And a couple of them in particular, they knew that they were within hours of going home to be with Jesus. They knew it. And this woman woke up out of a deep sleep, and everybody had been gone for a while. We came back, and I sit down next to her, holding her hand, talking to her, and she said, "Can I tell you something, Pastor?" I said, "What?" And she's known me since I was a teenager. She said, "Brother Mike," she said, "you can believe this or not, but," she said, "I just saw Jesus in this room here with me." She said, "I couldn't see his face, but I knew it was him. He is here now." And it wasn't a day, and then she passed away and went to heaven. I believe it. I remember a guy. If I can just talk and waste time today, can I do that? I remember as a boy, our next door neighbor, my mom and dad, and they were good friends. Dad and him were hunting buddies, and Mom used to go over to her house, and they would sit and smoke cigarettes and drink coffee all morning. And he was lost, didn't serve the Lord, but his mother was a good Christian woman. But anyway, he found out he had leukemia. This is back in 1974, 75. I mean, they didn't have nothing. It may have been before that, 73. And he was dying of leukemia. He was in the hospital. My mom was up there, and he said, "You guys hear that?" And they said, "What?" He said, "I hear the prettiest music I have never heard music. He said, this is so beautiful and so pretty. I've never heard anything like this before. And it wasn't too long after that he was dead. And I'll just tell you what I think from the Bible. I think God accompanies those who are his. And I think that God makes people aware, even if they're not able to vocalize it, if they're not able to say it. I think people who are of the day, I think people who are saved and born again and going to heaven, God lets them know. That's just what I think. Anyway, back to the news. Fraternities and sororities. This is what this is about. At least one student at Harvard University is expressing outrage over the name Incest Fest, a hookup dance to be held at the university's famous Kirkland House dormitory this winter. The event, described in the Kirkland House Wikipedia entry, is an annual debaucherous dance open only to male and female members of the house. Harvard's official student newspaper, The Crimson, also mentions the event in its campus life guide. You'll spend all of Secret Santa Week watching underclad men gyrating in the dining hall and figuring out who you'll hook up with at Incest Fest, it reads. House life is incredibly close-knit, bordering on downright incestuous. And they're proud of this at Harvard University. They are absolutely, and you have to understand, the leaders, the movers, the shakers, the industrialists, the politicians, the judges, and all of these people who are running our country come from Harvard University or Yale, where the Skull and Bones is. Have you seen a WorldNet Daily? If you have not seen this, go to WorldNet Daily. I believe it. I am just flabbergasted. It's right there in front of you. Barack Obama has been, here it is. Let me put the picture up here. Let me do this one right here. Barack Obama has been wearing this ring. Now, it looks like a wedding ring. The problem is, he's been wearing it for years before he ever got married. And when he got married, he had Michelle put that ring back on him as his wedding ring. Well, here's the thing about this ring. It used to belong to Bilbo Baggins, and no, I'm just kidding. That goes back to my Lord of the Rings days. As a student at Harvard Law School, think about it, then Bachelor Barack Obama's practice of wearing a gold band on his wedding ring finger puzzled his colleagues. Now, newly published photographs of Obama from the 1980s show that the ring Obama wore on his wedding ring finger as an unmarried student is the same ring Michelle Robinson put on his finger at the couple's wedding ceremony in 1992. Moreover, according to Arabic language and Islamic experts, the ring Obama has been wearing for more than 30 years is adorned with the first part of this Islamic declaration of faith, the Shahada, which says, there is no God except, guess who? Allah. The Shahada is the first of the 5 pillars of Islam, expressing the 2 fundamental beliefs that make a person a Muslim. There is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is Allah's prophet. Sincere recitation of the Shahada is the sole requirement. I always feel like I have to spit something after I do that. The Shahada is the sole requirement for becoming a Muslim, as it expresses a person's rejection of all other gods. I remember preaching at a church one time. They invited me to come preach a Sunday for them, and I went and preached at this church before the election, and I said to everybody, the terrible condition that our country and our churches are in, this is why we're about ready to vote for and elect a Muslim as president. And everybody went like dogs, like when you make a funny sound with dogs, they all went, what? What? He's a Christian. And there were a lot of people in this congregation that were some of these, they were these Union Democrats, I call them. And the Union Democrats, they're just your next door neighbor. They own guns. They're in a heterosexual relationship, but they belong to the Democratic Party because the union bosses told them Oh, this guy's for the working man. We're going to get raises, and he's going to support the unions, and we're all going to get better jobs, and we're going to get higher pay, and all of this stuff. And basically, the union bosses have contributed millions of dollars to his campaign, and they're getting a kickback somehow, some way out of it. I guarantee you there's something going on behind the scenes. When Joe Biden became vice president, he immediately has a meeting, I can't remember what it was, with all these union bosses, a private secret meeting. But anyway, he's been a Muslim all his life. He's never been a Christian, is not one now. He's still wearing the ring. And here's the thing. Go check out the article. They did close-ups. People started looking at photographs now of Obama's ring, and there is the script that's on that ring. And it's Muslim scripture. There is no God but Allah. What in the world did we get ourselves into as a country? What did we do? Well, I am of the firm opinion that you get what you ask for. America has gotten the president that America deserved. You can call Obama a puppet to the Illuminati. You can say whatever you want to say. You can say, well, him and George Bush and Mitt Romney, they're all the same. I'm not going to argue with you. But I'll tell you that we got the president that we deserved in this country. And I think it's a sign of things to come. I can't remember. I think it was Paul in the Netherlands that sent me this picture. And he said, Pastor Mike, you need to think about this. And it was a picture of the Dome of the Rock up here and all the Jews at the Wailing Wall down here. And he quoted Scripture, and he said, basically, God was right. He said, they're going to become over you, and you're going to be under them. And that's exactly what's going on right now. And, folks, it is coming to America. We've already got a Muslim president. He's pro-Muslim. He worships Allah. Of course, I don't know. I think he probably just worships himself more than anything. And there's just definitely something not right about America. And I'll tell you, you can blame the puppet masters of the Illuminati, and you can blame this, you can blame George Bush, and you can blame Bill Clinton, and you can blame everybody else. But I'm going to tell you that the reason why we have this in America, the finger is pointed directly in the direction of the pulpits of America. That's why. The preachers quit preaching. They quit declaring the truth. They quit saying. They quit. They were afraid that they were going to lose membership if they said certain things. So, well, let's just say nice things to them, and I can get that way I can keep my job here. What a joke. We have a new sponsor for the Watchman video broadcast. The sponsor is L'Oreal of Paris. And it's the, what is this stuff anyway? High Shine Elixir. And it's the 666 Babylon version of whatever this is. I don't know what that is. Somebody sent that to me. Here's something else I didn't get to the other day. God has no hands but our hands. Well, that's kind of stupid. God has no hands but our hands. If you take that to its logical, biblical conclusion, it basically essentially says that we're the ones who are going to save everybody, because the right hand of God is the hand of salvation. Save us by thy right hand, by thy strong arm and thy right hand. At thy right hand are pleasures forevermore. And if God has no hands but our hands, basically this church, what church was this? New Paris Missionary Church. Why is it that everything about Paris today? I don't know. Anyway, now, here is the video